Alright, YouTube, back at it again. It's been a long time since I did any videos, I know. But this video, we're going to go ahead and start doing our Tamiya pole trailer. This is their standard size, just like a log truck trailer almost. Get it open, let's take a look and see what we got. So, open it up. And as you can see, it comes with plastic tubes, which we'll use to cargo for now. It comes with 5 of them. So I hit the camera. Let's go ahead and move those out of the way. Alright. Now, paperwork. 2 more boxes. We'll get this big box out of the way for now. Inside the little box, sounds like our metal parts. So we got our boom, stack of tires. Can never have enough tires. And then all our little parts bags. Wood, some metal parts, and our frames. Check that out. Super short frame. Get rid of that box. In our next box, our big box, is going to be all our plastic bits, like so. And the deck for the trailer, some lights, some wheels, and some decals. Get rid of that box. We'll set everything aside. We'll start working through it one by one. Excuse me. So, this is a short build. There's only, let's see, 25 steps to build it, and one of the steps is actually just hooking it up to the truck. So it's kind of goofy, but let's go ahead and get started with step number 1. Step number 1 is going to be building the cap, building the pole and the extension part, and then moving on to 3 and 4 is just setting up the front half of the trailer. So why don't we pause right. Alright guys, we are back. So we're going to start with step 1. It starts with a B5, plastic part B5, and then a MA1, which is just this ring. And that just slides in like that and twists tight. And you want to make sure that you're 90 degrees, so when you're looking at it, this piece lines up with the hole, because you're going to hook in like so. Alright, so we'll set this aside for now, because we're not going to go using that one right now. And we're going to grab our B8, which is the back, or the front end of the trailer from what it looks like. That is going to get 2 of these MA2s. They're in the metal plastic bag, and that gets 2 of the MA11, which is the pretty standard metal screw. It's a 3x8 with the self-tapping threads, and it's a coarse thread. That just screws in. There's only one, and it lines up. There's these nubs right here, and they go through 2 of the 3 holes on this connector, on this plastic bit, and they just lock in to help secure it. And then once we're done with this, we got an A8 and an A7, which are these plastic bits here, and they just go on right here on the last two holes using two of your MA11s, your 3x8s. And remember not to over tighten because you are going into plastic, and you don't want to strip out any of the plastic because then you'll have to find bigger screws or glue it into place and all that jazz. So on step 2, which is our next step, you have to get your A11 and A12 off the plastic parts tree. Now these parts have nubs when they're welded to the tree, or cast I should say. They connect right here. It's going to be hard to see, but you want to make sure that you take a razor blade and just clean that off. You don't want that to get in the way because this actually slides up and down a tube. So we'll get our tubes. All the tape off. Okay. Now, let's see if we can get all the tape off. This is where it's going to get kind of tricky. I got to figure out what tube's what. It looks like this is going to be our first tube, our pull tube A, and the front piece we just made goes through there and gets lock nutted on with an MA7 and a nylock. The MA7's a 3x15 mil and just your standard nylock. Now careful not to go too tight on this because you don't want to crush that tube. So just, don't want it to move around too much. Once you've got this, get A9, which is this guy, and it slides on. And then we put our little of the, our little one, our A11, and it doesn't have threads on it, but the tube is actually threaded. So you want to kind of just push a little and it'll thread itself in as you go. It'll cut threads into the plastic. And just screw that until it's tight. So you'll end up with something that looks close to this. And then that part, let's see, part B is going to get this guy here, which is your B11. And it's going to get our bigger one, or A12. And again, no threads on the plastic, but there are threads in the tube, so just screw it down until you screw it all the way flush. Like so. Okay. Now we go up to step 3, which shows the tubes going together like this, the threaded end, and then you thread this piece to it. You thread your A9 gets threaded to your tube, okay? And then your last tube goes on with threads in, and it gets threaded to your B11. Now once you're done with that, you'll see that you take your B10, and there's 2 holes here. It goes in the last hole. It's going to be kind of hard. Oh, there we go. And you want to get the holes lined up, because this actually has guide like nudges on it. Good nipples that go into the tube. So that goes on like so, and then you get your last part, which is a B3. Should have cleaned it first, but and that goes on just like that, with 2 of these absolutely tiny MA12s with a little tiny screw that is going to self-thread into this. Okay, it's a 2x8 in case you lose it and you have to go buy a new one. Alrighty, so that concludes step 3. And as you can see, when our trailer comes out and goes in, they actually line up and they go through the hole right here and lock in, and you're going to be putting a screw here eventually from what I can surmise. So, now on step 4, I'm right, we put a screw through the hole and just a nylock. This screw is an MA8. It's your 3x12. And again, don't overly tighten this because you don't want to crush the plastic and crack the plastic. And once you've done that, you grab our piece we built earlier, and the tube slides through it and then goes into here and lines up with the brackets we made earlier, and you put a MA5 on. It's the long screw with the collar, and again that also just goes on with the nylock. Now you're going to have a ton of play in this. I'm pretty sure they designed it to have a lot of play in it. So, don't be worried about that. There's no washers or nothing that go in there. Alrighty. Well, I over-tightened that. Don't over-tighten this part, as I clearly did, because as you can see, it kind of bows right there. So let me back it out. Alrighty. There we go. And then our last step for step 4 is to go ahead and build our Kingpin setup. It's going to take your basic, your Kingpin plate. It's going to take 3 M8s. They go through, oops, I'm doing that wrong. They go through this metal bracket, which is in your parts bag, through the plastic, through the Kingpin, and then into a flange nut. These are one of the ones that automatically lock, so they're really handy. So you use 2 of your M8s on the outsides with 2 flange nuts, like so. So you end up like something like that. And then, you know, you screw it up. was supposed to put my Kingpin in first, which I did not do. That's supposed to go in. Then these go on, and this plastic piece actually has a nut head on it, cut into it, to make it so it locks into place. So put our nylocks on. The wrong screw. Use the long screw. Definitely not a job for fat fingers. Okay, so tighten those up. And then your last one, your last M8 goes in the middle to lock that pin in place. It doesn't actually look like this is going to be a Kingpin. It looks like it might actually be the pivot pin for the trailer. Looks like the trailer arms are going to come up here and this is going to pivot on our trailer. So, that's steps 3 and 4. We'll do step 5. We'll get everything finished and attached, and then we'll call it there, and we'll do the steps 6, 7, 8, and probably all the way up to 13 or 12. Probably up to 12 on our next video. So, our last step is installing our arm to the piece we just built. We want to make sure that the long legs are up. The arm goes in. You got these 2 brass bushings which go on like so, and then the arm goes into here and goes in the middle hole, and it's held in place by an MA6, which is your long, it's a 3x25, and it just goes through like that, and then gets a lock nut. Like so. And again, we want to just be careful not to over tighten these because we don't want to crush the trailer portion. We don't want to crush the arm or anything and make a structural weak point. So just get it snug tight. Should kind of flop around a little. And you should end up with something that looks like this. Unless you forgot to put a part on, which I did. Put all the parts on first, guys. Then you don't end up taking anything apart. Alrighty, well, I'm just going to finish this screw up by myself. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And, well, Speedy Mex signing off.